Okay, this is for homework 2. Let's see if I can get this to work. I have no idea why this is not working. Okay. Hopefully this will work this time. See, normally, there we go, good.
Welcome to Duo. If you were not expecting this, thank you. Goodbye.
So you don't have to be very patient. As soon as you hear that lady, you can just click the one and go on with your life. Okay, so I made the mistake trying to record this on Firefox. Do not use Firefox on the virtual lab. It's a really bad idea. Alright, so let's see. We want to view full screen if we can. And hopefully that won't mess me up too much. Okay. In this homework, we're going to get a feel for SPSS. You will use the same data file you generated in homework 1. For this lab, you don't have to worry too much about the write-up, but it's really, really important that you save everything before you close any software down, or you're going to have to redo everything. You're going to return a journal file to me and a PDF file. In order to manipulate the journal file, you're going to want to get rid of hidden file extensions, so you can come up to the search bar over here in your control panel and say File Extensions, Show or Hide File Extensions. You want to do not hide extensions for known file types. Apply. OK. Close. Alright, so now we're on step 4 in the homework. You click this little button and we're going to grab your data file. I happen to have a copy of my data nearby. Yours should probably be on your desktop. We just have to wait for this to open. Okay, now I'm going to say File, Import Data, and there's all these different things you can do. All of these work just the same way. This is a beautiful thing. But we're just going to use CSV, that's our go-to. And you're going to probably look at your desktop. I'm going to go somewhere else. I have a little place where I have this file hidden. There we go. That's on my AU website actually. Alright, now we should say OK. Alright, now we're on step 5 already. That's good. We're going to create a pie chart showing the breakdown of the 4 groups. So we're going to say Graphs, Legacy Dialogues, and then Pie, and I'm going to click the mouse. And then I'm going to hit Enter. And now I'm going to select the option that says Slices represent % of cases. And I'm going to define slices by group. Group should already be highlighted, so all I had to do is hit the curly arrow. Now it says define slices by group, so I can hit OK. Now I'm going to right click on the pie chart. This is a little hard to see, so I'm going to expand it. I don't want to make it full screen because I don't lose track of it. I want that back. Okay, here's my, there it is again. There we go. Okay, I'm going to right click and then I'm going to say edit content in separate window. On each slice of pie, or you could get it to work all at once, I don't care which, it doesn't make any difference. You're going to, right now see there's a yellow boundary around the whole entire circle, or you can do slice by slice. It doesn't really matter, as long as it's one of those 2 options. Okay, now you're going to right click in the pie chart and it's going to say edit content. Sorry. You're going to right click on the pie chart and then you're going to say show data labels. And I'm going to click. And that's all I really wanted. Okay, but I do want to do one more thing here. I want to take this group here and drag it up here. So the labels are going to be displayed as both percent and group. Okay, apply and then close. Now the original pie chart should be updated. We're going to close this window also. Okay, there it is. Right, now I'm going to go back up here to my, well actually here's an interesting thing I should point out. All these menu options that are here, we have two different views for our data, and we also have our output window. All of them give you the same menu items, so it doesn't actually matter where you launch them from. Okay, next we're going to create a table with summary stats on X, Y, T, and S sorted by group. Okay, so this is kind of nasty, but in SPSS we often need to split or unsplit the data. You'll get used to this. So this is the first time we're doing this. I'll do it pretty slowly. Data, split file. I mean, it just looks so innocent sitting there. What we're going to do is we're going to split file. We're going to pick the second group, but if you do the third group, the third option, that's fine. The second and third option are very, very similar, and I'm going to compare groups based on group. Alright, now I can continue. Hit OK. Now I'm going to say analyze descriptive statistics, descriptives. I'm going to select all four of these guys. If I come down to S, I'm going to hold down Shift and I'm going to click so I can save time and drag them all over at once. Okay, so I've got all four of those, and then I'm just going to hit OK. Alright, now I've got all these options, and everything's split. Everything's split by group. So group U, it tells me what X, Y, S, and T are, and V, X, Y, S, and T, all these different things it tells me. All this stuff, it gives me a mean, standard deviation, a min, a max. So you should know that these numbers don't make sense, right? Because I mean, this is not reflecting your data set. It's reflecting the population it believes you have drawn a sample from. Okay, so that's why these are not integers, even though the underlying data were all integers. Okay, at least I think they were. Well, maybe they weren't. Maybe I'm lying to you. But anyway, even if they were or weren't, it doesn't matter. The point is these are not going to look quite like your data, because remember, you're pretending that you drew a humongous sample from a population. Okay, so now that we're done with that, I want to unsplit the data again because I don't want to use it for the next exercise. So I say data, split file, and I'm going to go back to analyzing all cases. Now split file is off, but look what just happened. If you look at this data here, it's already grouped for you. It's been kind of sorted. It's sorted for you by group. So that's something important to know. If you save your data, it might not be the same, even though it didn't really change. It's sorted differently. Okay, so I'm going to go back and look at my output. I'm going to create side-by-side box plots of variable y, and so that's item 7 on our checklist. Graphs legacy box plot. And I'm going to click the define button. I'm going to use y as the variable, and the category axis will be group. Okay, and then we hit OK. And there you go, you can see it. Alright, we saw this before. Now we're going to create grouped frequency histograms for X. So item 8, graphs legacy histogram. Graphs legacy histogram. Variable is X and row is group. And then you hit OK. And you're going to get all 4 of them at once. Ding, 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 ding. Okay, great. Item number 9, 95% confidence intervals by groups. Oh no, we have to split the file again. Data, split file, da 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 da, by group. Okay, we're happy with that. And we're going to keep it split for step 10, so we're going to save ourselves a little bit of headache. Analyze Bayesian statistics, 1 sample normal. And we want S and T. Now what do? We hit OK. So for each group we're going to get some output and some report. There we are. We get lower bounds and upper bounds and all this stuff. And I'm having trouble keeping it from scrolling too fast. There we go. So for each of our groups, for each of those requested variables, we are getting our 95 credible intervals. And so I didn't ask you to set 95 because that's the default. Okay. We're still split, so we're going to go see how correlated X and Y are for each group. So you say analyze Bayesian statistics. Sorry, analyze correlate, my bad. Analyze correlate by variate, and the variables are X and Y. And I'm going to say OK. Oh, this is cool. So for each group it pairs X and Y. So X and X obviously has a correlation of 1, Y and Y has a correlation of 1, and obviously these are the same. So for such a small thing here, this is kind of silly. The only box that really matters is one of these 4 boxes. This box is not meaningful, this is a duplicate, and then this is not meaningful. But anyway, that's okay. We just get a lot of output. SPSS is big on output. Okay, now we're going to unsplit for the next step. So data, split file, let's not split it again. Okay, unsplit it. Now we're on step 11. Okay, make a grouped scatter plot of X versus Y. Okay, so if you haven't already, you may need to switch to full screen on your browser. Now, we're going to say graph, this is the first way. In step 12, we're going to do it the second way. Graph, legacy, scattered dot, and then select simple scatter, and then you're going to say X is X, Y is Y, like we always do. X is X, Y is Y. Set markers by group, and then hit OK. And then what you're going to do is we're going to right click to edit in a separate window. We know this, song and dance. Edit content in separate window. And this is the difficult one to describe verbally, but this is the box you're looking for. It's add fit line at subgroups. Let me try to get that to show up again. Add fit line. Do you see it there? At subgroups. And then we're going to choose it. If you choose the other one, it would add a single fit line, but I want to see all 4 fit lines for the 4 groups. Now, you can just say, yeah, that's what we want. We chose it. Okay. Now, the next step you probably are going to have trouble doing, and I understand if you don't, get it to work. But you should try. Try really hard to click on these boxes and move them, but it's very, very hard to get it to work on the VCL, because everything other than the thing you want to click is going to get clicked. If you can just move one of them, I'll be thrilled. But I'm going to try to click the blue one because it seems to be peeking out. Okay, I clicked it. Now I'm going to try to wait till it looks like an arrow. I'm clicking and holding and dragging. It might work. If I'm lucky, I can get one of these boxes to move out of the way. No such luck. Let me try another one. Let me try to get the green one. Can I get the green one to move? Don't spend too long trying this, but you got to give it a shot. In theory, you should be able to move these guys. I'm holding my breath over here. Hey, I got it to move. See? Yay, you got one of them to move. So, if you can get one of them to move, great. If not, fine. Okay, so once you've done what you can on that, you can close that down, and it's just going to carry over to your other screen. Alright, now I'm going to do the same thing a different way. It's not going to have exactly the same effect. It's going to look almost the same. We're going to say Graphs, Chart Builder, and we're going to say OK, and then we're going to click on Scatter Dot. And then the third option is some scatter plots. I just turned it gray by clicking on it. I'm going to click and hold and drag into this gallery. And then I'm going to drag the group variable into the set color. And I'm going to drag X to X and Y to Y. So far, so good. There should be an option that says linear fit lines, and choose the one that says subgroups, and I guess there's chart appearance and things like that. Yeah, this is it's going to be kind of ugly because everything's going to be gray. But that's okay. But that's where you would change those options. Okay, so this is kind of disgusting, but you know, you can adjust all these things. Right. So you wouldn't use this in a real presentation. You would do something else. I don't know what. These axes are atrocious. But I don't want it to be perfect right now. I just want you to get a general idea of how this software works. Okay. Next, we're going to make a QQ plot. We're going to split the file again. We're going to do the same thing we did. Okay. Now we're going to do Analyze Descriptive Statistics. And we're going to do QQ plots. And the default option should be fine. We want to do variables. How about just pick Y? That's got to be enough, right? mean, the thing is split, so you're going to get 4 of them anyway. It's going to be a lot of output for just this little bit. Okay, so QQ plot for Y versus normal curve, and V, W, all this cool stuff. Anyway, let's test for similarities between two groups of your choice. So I have U and W, for example. U, V, W, I don't know what. And I'm going to say analyze. Oh wait, I have to unsplit the file again. Sorry about that. Okay, now I'm going to say analyze, compare means, and independent samples t-test. I'm going to use x as my test variable, and then I'm going to put the group down here, I think. Aha, there we go. Now I have to define my group names. So I'm going to say define groups. Then group 1, I'm going to put one of my names, and group 2 I'm going to put another one of my names. U and W are two legal groups, and then I'm going to hit continue. Alright, and then I'm going to hit OK. And that should work. So whatever two groups you wanted to compare, I'm comparing variable X in group U and W. And then I'm going to look, and it's going to tell me if they're the same or not. And it's saying they're not the same. Okay? Alright, so we're moving to question 15. The first of two ways, I'm going to do ANOVA without Tukey first. So I'm going to say analyze Bayesian statistics, one way ANOVA. Dependent is Y, factor is group, and I'm going to say OK. We're going to probably get high degree of confidence on this, I'm thinking. I don't know. Well, this is a different ANOVA that I'm used to looking at, so I don't honestly know what it's trying to tell me. I mean, I know what these are saying, upper and lower bounds, but I guess it's just like, look at it yourself. Okay, so that's one way of dealing with this problem, but I'm going to do it the way I'm more comfortable with. I'm going to use a generalized linear model, and I'm going to use Tukey, and so I'm going to just bring out the whole ball of wax. Analyze, we call this GLM, General Linearized Model. So GLM, univariate, and then I'm going to put the dependent variable in here like before. And fixed factors, I'm going to make the group. And then I'm going to go over to post hoc and choose like Tukey, and I guess I gotta put the group in there. Tukey and Bonferroni sound good. And continue. And then I want to say options, choose homogeneity and estimates of effect size, and then continue, and then OK. So notice with the second method we're going to get a lot more output. We're going to get everything paired. Tukey pairs everything, pairs each thing by each other thing. And so this is what I'm really looking at. So Tukey says that group subset 3 is groups V and X. V and X are fairly similar. Group U and W are different from each other and different from the other groups, which, see if we can scroll back up, way back up when we did this thing here. So it's telling us what this is telling us intuitively. It's trying to tell us that two of them are similar. Which one did it say is similar now? It says V and X are similar. So let's go back and look at this again. It's claiming V and X are the similar ones. This one and this one. Okay, I can agree with that. They look very similar. So those guys are similar. And Tukey says this W is different from U and V and X, and so is U, different from everybody. But V and X, I can't be sure they're different. That's what Tukey's saying. Okay. And that's usually the kind of thing you want to know for groups. Okay, so let's see, recoding variables. That's number 16. So we want to do transform, recode into different variables, hit T and then hit the curly arrow. We're going to do this again with S. So you have to put a name in here. You don't have to put the label, but you do have to say change. See, and then that updates. Then you click new and old values. So for example, if I want 0 to become disagree, it's not going to work. I had to click this. Output variables are strings. Okay, now I can do this. 0 is disagree, and then I hit the add button. And then 1 is agree, and I hit the add button. And then I have to say continue, and then OK. And so now I can peek at my data over here and see that there's a new column. And it looks like it's already sorted by T, so let's not worry too much about that. Let's do the same thing again for S. So transform, recode into different variables, and this is going to be S. I'm going to just get rid of this guy. Name new S, new and old. 0 is going to be female, I guess. So this is the problem. I have to delete these or change them carefully. So I'll just delete them. 0 is going to be female, and 1 is going to be male, and continue. And I have to hit change to update this, and then I can say OK. Now this should have worked. We should be getting females and males up there. OK. Now that we've recoded our variables, we can go on to step 17, which is chi-square, and it will have a more meaningful output now. So you can say analyze, descriptive statistics, cross tabs, and I'm going to use the row as new T. That's why we made it, and the column is new S. And then you're going to say statistics, and you're going to pick chi-square and correlations. And for cells, pick observed and expected, and then you hit OK. And let's see. this is what I wanted to look at. So agree and disagree, the count and the expected count. These look roughly the same. These guys look roughly the same, but the disagrees, oh my gosh, we expected. No, they're not too bad. They're not that different. Well, maybe I don't think they're that different. Some of these examples we do, they're way off. Anyway, it's supposedly very significant, but to my eyeballs, it's not that significant. I mean, I think it's significant, but maybe not of much consequence. Okay. So we did that, and let's go to step 18 because we're ready to export things. So we've done all the hard work, and now we have to export the output. So I'm going to say File, Export, and I'm going to call the type PDF right here, and I'm going to give this a logical name. I'm going to put it on the desktop where I can find it. Dietz Homework 2. I'm going to save that. I'm going to say OK. And it may take a while. I wonder if I could do anything while it's doing that. Let me try something. Nope, I can't do anything. We're just sitting here. Could I pause this? I could pause this. Okay, it wasn't that much longer, but you didn't have to watch that. Okay, so now I'm going to just see. I tried hitting F11, it didn't work. Oh well. Okay, I'm going to minimize these guys just for a while. Do not close them. I just want to see if this worked. So I'm double clicking this. I want to see how much. This is not paper, luckily. How big is this massive document? 38 pages. Okay, but there you go. Yeah, the only way I'm going to know what your name is you're going to submit this on Blackboard, but the name of your file is going to be right here that you read it in. So I'm going to get to see all your pretty plots, all this mess. Alright. Okay, so it's real, it exists, and I'm not worried about it. So it's actually there. But it means I'm not going to log off until I put it somewhere useful. Like, I'm going to just destroy mine, I don't care, but you have to save yours. Alright, now the other thing you need to worry about is your journal file. Okay, I'll show you where the virtual lab keeps the journal file. If you just go to C, Users, and then your user ID, which for B is Dietz. And then Documents, which is also called My Documents. Don't ask me why it has two names. And then you go to IBM, SPSS, Statistics, 25. And there's your file. Now, you can't drag that out because it's in use. But I'm hitting Control and click. Control click, and I'm dragging it over here so I can have a copy on the desktop. Okay, remember you can't touch, you may never be able to touch this file, but you definitely can't touch it now because that SPSS is open. Okay, so I can just go ahead and change the file name, rename this to a text file, and now I can crack that open and make sure I captured everything I needed to capture. You know, it felt like we were doing a lot more than we actually were. But that is all we actually did, and that's going to be submitted. You can either change it back to JNL or leave it as TXT, I don't care, but these are the two files you need to submit. You could right now, like if you're doing this on the virtual lab, just submit it directly on Blackboard so you don't even have to worry about saving it anywhere, because Blackboard will save that for you. Okay, so what if you did not find your journal file where I said it would be? So let's just go back into SPSS and let it tell us where the journal file is. So if I go to Edit Options, I guess I'm not going to go to Edit Options. Let me try this again. What about here? Well, so I lied when I said all the menu items were the same. I guess they're not all identical. Okay, so options, and then file locations, and then this tells you where that magic file is. Okay? There you go. I think I've answered everything I want you to answer. I'm going to close this down. It's asking you if you want to save it, but you just saved it. The only thing you added was these two recoded variables, so you don't need to save that. It's not really different. I'm going to ask you to recode it every time anyway. Don't bother saving that. But just click all that after you've verified that you have these two files and they're good, and do not log off until you've saved those files. Okay? And we will pick up from there.